It's great to see the 36th Alliance Francaise French Film Festival is about to begin March 4th to April 9th with over 40 films. And it's my great pleasure to be speaking to the new CEO of the French Film Festival, Frederic Alliod. Frederic, welcome to Movie Metropolis.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on your appointment as CEO, and tell me about the challenges that you faced in selecting films for this year's French Film Festival.
Well, thank you so much. Actually, you're right. It's a new position. I've been in Australia for more than a year now, but this is the first edition when I get to actually choose and select the film. And yes, it's challenging because first of all, we have to find 42 films, which is quite a lot. And the process is a mix of different kind of things. Usually it starts in during the Cannes Film Festival because you have the official selection, you have parallel selection, you have the film market. So I'm trying to see what are the interesting the film there, what is successful with the audience and the professional because a lot of the industry go to Cannes. And then a bit later on, we are looking at the box office. So we are looking at the reviews as how it was received in the International Film Festival. We're looking at the result at the box office. And also we are trying to have a diversity. It's really important that we have a diversity of film because technically our selection is a snapshot of what France produced best the previous year. And we have a diversity of genres, drama, comedy, drama, romance, adventure. We are also trying to find films that could match or be interesting, appealing for our Australian audience, because of course this is what it's all about, given the fact that most of our audience is actually Australian by 76%. So it's not a French cultural event for French people, for the French community. No, no, no. Our audience is mainly Australian. So we have to take into consideration the cultural differences. So films that could be specifically appealing and films that maybe could be a bit less accessible, but they are meaningful because they have strong topics, in which case we are trying to bring added value with Q&A, panel discussion, and that kind of thing. Now, one last thing is that most of our films are actually booked by Australian distributor. So clearly it's a cooperation between the festival and Australian professional. They buy the rights, they work with us, they trust us to release and promote the film first window with the festival. And eventually after the festival, it will be theatrically released. Not maybe all of them, but sometimes some of them you will have it on VOD or other platform, TV. However, we are strong advocates of watching the film on the big screen. This is what the festival is all about, to see international film, especially French film, in the best condition ever, in front of the silver screen.
Absolutely agree with you, and congratulations on that. And just to mention, the French film industry produces, I think, over 200 films per year. It's a huge industry.
That's totally correct. 200 something, I don't have the specific numbers in mind.
Yeah.
So yes, it's because, first of all, it's an old industry. It's a strong industry because we have the support of the CNC. It's like a Screen Australia in France. It's more complex than that, but basically we have supports and all system complex but efficient to support any kind of films, from the small art house films to the big French blockbusters. We have a lot of international co-productions with all over the world, so that counts as well. And yes, I think it's fifth film industry, the fifth country in the world in terms of film production. Behind, actually, I think the first one is Nigeria. Strongly, this might come as a surprise for many people. India, then the United States, China, and then it will be France.
Right. So good to hear all that, and great to see it being so well supported. Now, let's talk about some of the films. And I noticed the opening night film is Monsieur Aznavour, starring Taha Rahim, who I remember so well from Un Prophet.
Exactly, that's it. You might have seen him also in international production, just like the Netflix TV series. I think it was called The Snake, I have the French title, The Serpent, but where I play a serial killer, actually. So you might recognize his face. He was in a couple of Hollywood films, so you might recognize his face.
Yep.
We chose this film because, for the opening film, we want something to be a kind of epic, a real spectacle, because this is like a special event. And for me, it was the perfect film. First of all, I do enjoy biopics because I think they're always very universal and inspiring, even though you don't know these people because maybe you don't have access to them, but you get to learn them. But there's tales of struggle, of failure, of hope, and eventually incredible achievement. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a biopic. You can totally relate. Plus, for me, this is what France has to offer best in terms of culture, because this is an Armenian immigrant. I mean, from an Armenian family, he make it to France. He become like an iconic singer and composer. He actually make it in the US. He has a star on Hollywood Boulevard. So it's an incredible story. You have to pay the price for it too. You will see that in the movie. But I think it's very, very interesting. It's kind of a epic. You have a soundtrack to die for because you get to hear most of his success song. And I think people will like it. It's kind of a big budget, high production value. You get to travel uh, through time because you see French history from the World War II, and so you get to see that. So it's pretty epic, and I'm sure the audience will love it.
I'm sure it sounds really interesting. And speaking of biopics, there's one on the stage and silent film actress Sarah Bernhardt, Divine Sarah Bernhardt, starring Sandrine Kiberlen.
Exactly. I think it's really interesting in many ways. First of all, it's a very entertaining film. It's very eye candy because we have noticed that Australian audience, they do love a good historical drama, and you have beautiful costume, stage costume, but also her costume. She was the first international superstar for us. She's bigger than life, big personality, one of the first feminist icon as well, so it's meaningful. To the point that she actually had a career in America, her too. And actually, she come to Australia. We found an old picture of her being in Melbourne, I think. She was on stage there. We will share with our audience in due time. So, yes, very entertaining. And I'm sure for those who love fashion, it will be also very interesting because the costumes are beautiful. The costume design is incredible.
Looking forward to seeing the film. Now, I'm so pleased to see a new film by Costa Gavras, of Z fame, who's such a good filmmaker, before What Comes After.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm a huge fan myself of Costa Gavras. He's legendary from my point of view. The film is actually really good. And again, this is a film that I selected because first it has a strong topic and everybody is going to relate. It's about end of life. So except if you're not concerned, in which case I really want to know how you do it. But on the principle, I believe everything is concerned. So it's based on a book by a French philosopher, Régis Debray. He has this conversation with a doctor, and they go see patients who are at the end of their life. So the film, you see that, but it's actually much more entertaining than what it sounds like. It's pretty hopeful, joyful. So it's not depressing at all. Well, of course, it's emotional, but it gives you a lot of food for thoughts. And as this is also part of my ambition for this festival, that it sparkles conversation, that it brings topic on the table and inspire people to discuss and exchange, because it's part of the experience of a cultural event, especially a festival from my point of view.
Ah, excellent. Look forward to it. Now, one of your big epics in the festival is The Count of Monte Cristo. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yes, you could call it a blockbuster, a French blockbuster. We don't make many of those. We had The Three Musketeers last year, same
Yeah.
production actually, based on the same, based on novels by Alexandre Dumas. Guy Pearce, I think, an Australian actor, plays a part years ago in a Hollywood movie. It's a 3 hours long, but it's absolutely epic, beautiful production value. It's a very good film. 10 million admission in France. I can tell you, with a movie that long, if it's not good, people don't go and see it. And I think if again it's very very eye candy. So if you want beautiful landscape of France, beautiful costume, and epic storytelling, you're going to love it. This is definitely one of the films you really really have to see it on the big screen.
Ah, sounds great. Look forward to it. Now, I spoke a while ago to Audrey Diwan for her film The Happening, and she's back with a new film called Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, technically, she has three films because she's also a scriptwriter for The Good Teacher and for Beating Hearts.
Ah,
And now she's also the director for Emmanuel. Emmanuel, this is a modern reimagining of the classic 1974 erotic drama Emmanuel by Jules Jacquin, which was a cultural phenomenon in France. 10 years on the Champs-Élysées, it was screened. So it was really a big thing. No, this is a reimagining because the film is actually totally different. Yes, it's an erotic drama. It sounds a bit kinky when we say that because we organize an all-ala night because we want to be a bit playful and have a bit of fun with it. However, again, for me, this film is very meaningful because we have a selection of films about female empowerment. And for me, the picture is not complete if you don't tackle the subject of intimacy, sexuality. And this is a female perspective on female fantasy, desire. And I think it's important to have that also as well. And for me, it will be also a conversation driver.
okay. Sounds great. And yes, she was part of Beating Hearts, Gilles Lelouch's film, and yeah, great to see that, all of that. Now, speaking of great directors, Claude Lelouch, another one of my favorite directors, is back with a film At the End of the Day.
At the end of the day, Claude Lelouch is a very, very prolific director. It's like a wine. You have good years and bad years. I think this is a good year. This is like a comedy drama. This is kind of a bit bigger than life, very Lelouch-like. So there is a lot of poetry in it. You have big feelings. You travel all around France and you're going to see some beautiful landmarks from France, like the Mont Saint-Michel, Le Pont d'Avignon. So I think, yes, if you love for people who actually love France, love something, it's extremely French in the location where they show the film, in the way they tell the story. Plus, there is this craziness of Claude Lelouch. He still has it, and I think this is a good year for a Lelouch movie. I think you will enjoy it as well.
Okay, again, looking forward to it. Now, another important director who's made such really incredible films, Francois Ozon, is back with a film called When Fall is Coming.
Yes, I do love François Ozon. Is one of our top director. I think also it's one of the. I mean, in this case, I think it's. I was mentioning Lelouch. I think François Ozon is always a good year with François Ozon. He's less prolific, but his movies are always really good. You see, you follow the story of a grandma, and you can understand that there are some family issue but you don't really understand why. So something is going to happen. So it starts like a very quiet tale of a grandma living in the forest, but it's like of a slow burn, but suddenly it becomes like a thriller. It's very gripping. I absolutely love it. And you have to watch it till the very end. I think it's going to be great. And you have also beautiful sceneries of France for those who are really into that because it's part of the experience for the festival. Yes.
Excellent. All right. Some really strong films this year. Anne Fontaine is back with a new film called Bolero.
Bolero is part of our selection of epic biopics. Anne Fontaine, she's very experienced filmmaker, so and very famous one at that. Bolero is the story of Maurice Ravel. He's a composer of Bolero, which is one of the most famous piece of music ever composed. I believe that every 15 minutes it's played somewhere in the world. So ago, it's an historical drama because it's technically because it's from the beginning of the previous centuries, and you get to see how he get to compose this piece. He had some health issue as well. It's never really said because it was never diagnosed, but you can see that it's challenging. It's being challenged with his health condition, maybe mental condition, and actually it helps nurturing his creativity. So it's kind of interesting to see the process and see the big artists because you know what the result is. But when you see this artist struggles, I think it's extremely relatable. Or even him or Nikki Safal, you can see that also in the Nikki biopics. Or you know their achievements, but you didn't know they struggle that hard. So this is in that way where I find it inspiring and relatable.
Uh-huh. Okay. Again, sounds really interesting. Now, Daniel Auteuil is such a prolific actor in many films, French films, etc. I notice he's also in The Love Boat, but he directs a film called The Thread.
Yes, the thread, yes, in the recent year, he direct more and more films. This is a film, it's like a thriller, actually. It's about a trial, it's about law ethics, a lawyer who actually lost the spirit. He's not quite sure why he's doing it anymore, and suddenly with his specific case, he's going to believe in it again to find a purpose for him to do what he's doing. Of course, it's like a thriller, so not everything is going to happen the way you would expect. So it's very gripping. And I think from previous year, we know that these kind of films are very appealing for the Australian audience. Yes.
Very good. Excellent. So interesting to hear an array of different genres and so on. A film that sounds interesting is one that deals with the education and because I've seen other French films that deal with this so well. A film called Good Teacher.
The Good Teacher, yes, we have a few films about education, about the youth. The Good Teacher, I really like this film. It's actually based on a true story. So it's about harassment at school. Um, and it's actually terrifying, especially when you know it's based on true events. So again, it's not a thriller, but I watched the film just like it was a thriller. It's true story which has consequences on in real life. Again, it's a French film, so expect not to have all the answer, and you get to make your own decision, and you will have your own point of view. This is part also of the experience, and this is also why I believe the film is interesting.
Ah, excellent. Now, I really love Jean-Pierre Melville, such a good filmmaker, and you're screening a restored version of his 1969 film, which is such a good film, Army of Shadows.
Exactly every year we want to introduce a classic film from France. So yes, you're totally right. This film was actually recently restored in 4K. It was introduced at Cannes Classic. Jean-Pierre Melville is a giant. It's a very, very good film. And also it was meaningful, a good timing for us because this is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. So it was a very good way for us to connect the dots.
Well done on that. Yes, look forward to seeing the restored version. Now, notice the closing night film is a film called In the Sub for Love.
Exactly. We wanted to finish on a light note, so it's your classic rom-com, which click well with the audience because I think there is this image of France being romantic. I'm not sure why, but I know this is how France is being perceived. So yes, this is a romantic comedy. It's a lot of fun. It's like a tribute to the screwball comedies from the 40s, 50s. I'm not sure of the period of time, but I think it will be fun and very accessible, very universal. Yes.
Yes. And speaking of comedies, you've got several in the festival. One that I've seen at the media launch was Meet the Leroys, which is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a bit bittersweet.
Yep.
For me, it's also meaningful, and that's why I like the film. First, it's fun. It's very entertaining, but it doesn't always go the way you expect it to go. You know, it's not like a Hollywood romantic comedies, and it's about emancipation and empowerment. Again, having fun, but at the same time having something meaningful that actually says something. This is exactly what we're trying to achieve.
Excellent stuff. And I noticed a film called, which I don't know much about. I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing all of these. Speak Out.
Peek Out, yes, it's more like a family movie for us. It's the story of a teenager is stutter, I think. Do I say it correctly? Stuttering, you know, when you have difficulties to. So I'm sorry for my bad English. Basically, and to try to overcome his disability, because it's a disability, he joined at school the stage class. Is it correct? Do I say that? I mean, they organize a play, so there is so he joining the play basically, and they are going to do Cyrano de Bergerac, one of the most famous plays. So it's extremely challenging, and this is how we you so again about empowerment, overcoming challenges. It's fun actually. Somehow it reminds me in some way of this Robin Williams movie where he, you know, the Circle of the Dead Poet. Sorry, usually I know the titles in French and I do not always know the original title, but this is, I'm sure it rings a bell, this Robin Williams film where he's a teacher and he teach poetry and then they meet in secret places to read poetry. Somehow there is some kind of the same vibes, you know, a teacher who really empower his student through art.
Aha, yes, Dead Poets Society. Yes, I know the film you're talking about. Okay, I'll just mention one more, then I'll get you to mention a film that I haven't talked about yet, but a film called Stolen Painting sounds very interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting because this is also the backstage of the contemporary art market or art market in general, because basically a family found an Eagle Shield painting in their home and they get to have it identified. So it's not contemporary art. But and then you see all the process, what is taken into consideration to put a value on a piece of art. So it's quite interesting. It could be thrilling. Some per moment are tense. Some are actually funny. It's like a comedy drama. So it's a film that will be entertaining. Plus, you will learn a lot of things about the art market in France, which also is international.
Okay, excellent stuff. All right, Frederic, we're just about to conclude, but do you have an one film that you would like to mention that we haven't discussed so far?
It's always challenging because they're all kind of my babies. I feel like
Of
it because
course.
what I want to highlight is the fact that we have a diversity. I want really want to emphasize the fact that we are trying to have a very diversity of genre of films. So if you want, you will get to experience that if you come to the festival. So I would say go see as many films as possible. Some films are a bit low key. You know what? I'm going to mention one because I really like it, and I noticed that it kind of under the radar. It's called The Ties That Bind Us, which is about relationship, about feelings, love, what you believe is love, but not. It's very spontaneous. It just feel right with astonishing performance from Pio Marmaille, the French actor, and Valeria Bruni Tedeschi. So it's more like a low-key film, but quite frankly, I would highly recommend it.
Excellent stuff. Frederic, it's been a pleasure talking to you. The Alliance Francaise Film Festival is on from March 4th to April 9th at Palace Cinemas across Australia. And we've been talking to the CEO of the Alliance Francaise French Film Festival, Frederic Alliod. Frederic, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you so much, Peter. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.